The format for the evening is Dr. Cooper will provide an update on the college's plan of action. Following her remarks, and as time allows, we will open up the floor for questions, either here in person and also on Zoom. At this time, I remind you to turn off or put into silent mode your cell phones. And a recap of this presentation will be provided on the coronavirus section of the Springfield College website, springfield.edu. At this time, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Mary Beth Cooper, Springfield College President.
Thank you. Well, this constitutes a large gathering, right? So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But before I start my comments, I want to say good evening to everybody, including all of our people on Zoom. I want to thank Tony Moody and his IT staff for making that capacity available. We have over 1,000 slots available for people to Zoom in and get this information live. And so I'm really excited about that. It's really a signal in terms of how we're moving forward, right? So that we're able to, at the same time, give you this information, and then those that are not able to be with us tonight can get it where they're at, including my husband. Hello, Dave Cooper. I heard he was one of the very first people to Zoom in. I appreciate that. You want to say hi, Dave? Hi. There you go. That's what you get for Zooming in. Okay, so there are some people, and I don't want to make light of it. There are some people that have spoken to me and to others today about gathering a large community in light of what we know from CDC. And so I want to tell you a little bit about why we did this. This may be one of our last large group gatherings for a while, not forever, for a while. But it was a result of conversations earlier this week with student leaders that I had an opportunity to sit down and talk about the virus and what we're doing in terms of responding to it. And as we talked through the opportunity to do what other colleges and universities are doing, they've got, just like we do, a banner on our webpage that has all the memos that I've sent, all the information for you. In many ways, that's very passive. And so as I talked to student leaders, they said it would be great if you got in front of us, told us what you were thinking, how you came to those decisions, and gave us an opportunity to ask you questions live. And so, as always, we do things in light of not only other colleges and universities, but we do things the Springfield College way. And so I thought it was really much more appropriate and much more authentic, thank you, to come in front of you and talk about how we got to the decision we've made tonight. So again, for those of you that are concerned, I apologize. Also wanted to give you a little bit of context about where we've gone. This really, and as I met with some trustees earlier this afternoon, and we had an opportunity to talk with trustees about some of the decision-making we've made, this started about 14 days ago. 14 days ago, we had an opportunity to think about how we would respond to our 15 students that were studying abroad in Italy. There was a virus over there, and our students were being impacted. Would we bring them home? What would that look like? And so we gathered again about 14 days ago, not knowing what was ahead. And so here we are 2 weeks later, and many, many, many meetings and many, many decisions later. And so it is interesting how quickly this has evolved. I am grateful for our shared governance model. As I mentioned, I've been talking with some students. Other students have emailed me, and I will get to them. But the shared governance model here at Springfield College is unique and I think very powerful. I want to thank Ted France and Liz Mullen from the Faculty Senate who have been with us along the way, meeting with us, informing us, and talking with us about decisions that we're making, and we're present not only this afternoon as we talk to trustees, as well as tonight. So thank you very much for coming. Let's give Ted a round of applause. What I think is really even more powerful than that is that we have had 3 of our very own faculty who I consider to be experts. And 2 of them I think are here tonight, Megan Harvey and Sophia Zagarons, both experts in epidemiology and public health. They have been helping us guide the process, and so our very own experts are helping inform that, as well as Pam Higgins, who may be Zooming in from Norway. And so we've had robust faculty helping us make decisions to impact our community. Please give them a round of applause. I am, for the first 8 to 9 minutes, going to stay fairly on script so that I communicate with you the important information. You will find this document also on the website at 10 p.m. tonight, or a variation. I tend to go a little off script, so those of you that are present have an opportunity to hear whatever things I say that I don't have on the script, but I also want to make sure that you've got the good content. It will be available, again, about 10 o'clock tonight. SCTV will be doing an interview. I believe they're recording this. I will be also taking questions, and so your questions will be a part of the recording, just so you know that, okay? All right, I'm going to get right to it. Springfield College is extending spring break. Originally scheduled for March 14th through 22nd by adding one additional week, which will conclude March 29th, 2020. This decision was made in an effort to reduce potential pathways for community spread of COVID-19 within our community. This additional week will allow faculty time to prepare course content both at the undergraduate and graduate level to be delivered online in the event it becomes necessary. It also provides the college with the opportunity to understand more fully the evolution of the COVID-19 outbreak, especially now just today, World Health Organization declared the outbreak a pandemic. Acknowledging what seemed clear for some time, that the virus would likely spread to all countries on our globe. And just yesterday, locally, Governor Baker declared a state of emergency for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts over the concerns surrounding the outbreak. Certainly, those two decisions have informed our decision. The additional week will also enable us to be well positioned to resume classes, whether in person or online, as anticipated on Monday, March 30th. Classes and college events will continue as scheduled through Sunday, March 15th, 2020. Residential students should pack accordingly and plan on not being able to return to campus for at least 2 weeks. Regional campuses and operations will follow main campus protocol unless other guidance is issued by the CDC. It has truly been a team effort of college administrators, our health leaders, including faculty and members of the Board of Trustees, in a true shared governance model. We've been closely monitoring the situation in an environment that places the highest priority on the safety and well-being of students, faculty, and staff. We started meeting again about 2 weeks ago. We've been meeting daily, sometimes twice a day, over the weekend, sometimes up to 3 hours at a time, really doing what you're doing and what your family's doing and what other people are doing. We are scouring web pages, looking for the most up-to-date information, what's the most accurate, to ensure that we're making the best decision in terms of your safety. In the past few days, it's become clear that the spread of the virus continues across the country. While there continues to be no reported cases of the virus on Springfield College campus, we need to focus on mitigating its possible effects while determining how best to advance the educational mission of our students with minimal disruption. The Wellness Center, including the rec center, pool, and wellness activities, will be closed from March 14th through March 22nd, so that the Department of Facilities Management staff may sanitize recreation areas in the Wellness Center. The Health Center will remain open. The college is reviewing plans to postpone, cancel, or virtualize all college-sponsored in-person events during this time. Employees are strongly encouraged to limit contact and conduct meetings online or via telephone whenever possible. We also ask that guests refrain from visiting campus during spring break through March 30th, or as requested by the college based on evolving information. The college will be virtualizing its in-person accepted student open house scheduled to be held on Sunday, April 5th, 2020, providing a digital format for accepted students to utilize as they make their decision to deposit and join our Springfield College family. Athletic events that are being altered by the plans in place will be communicated by the athletic director and coaches. All spring break travel has been canceled, effective Saturday, March 14th. Teams are allowed to stay on campus to train and compete. There will be no spectators allowed to view sporting events starting March 16th, with the exception of limited family. All faculty, staff, and students must register all college-related travel plans occurring now through commencement, domestic and international. We strongly encourage campus community members to register all personal travel with the college and reconsider personal trips that involve cruises or visits to level 2 or level 3 countries. As of 6:30 p.m. when I was leaving my house tonight, there are 255 registered travelers, so I appreciate your complying with that request. It really does help us. And we will be communicating back to you. A link to the registration page is on the college's information website. And as a reminder, the college's current restrictions on travel include the following. I think many of you saw an email about this earlier, but let me reiterate it. If you are traveling to a level 2 or level 3 area, and you can find out that status on check CDC government/travel for updates, or going on a cruise, regardless of origin or destination, prior to April 30th, 2020. The college's leadership strongly cautions you against doing so, and we will continue to follow the advice of the CDC for all travel-related concerns. Students are strongly encouraged to reconsider all international travel through April 30th, 2020. Upon your return from either a level 2 or level 3 country or location, or a cruise, you will be required to self-quarantine for 14 days at your home address, not on campus. Students and faculty and staff who are self-quarantined are not allowed on campus or at college-related events. That's the main information, and I am mindful of the needs and schedules of our students, staff, and faculty. However, we are faced with a challenging and uncertain situation. I want to thank everyone for their patience and cooperation. We as a college will continue to work on our contingency plans each and every day with the goal of finishing this semester strong. The college will continue to keep students, faculty, and staff updated. In addition, please continue to check the college's COVID-19 website, as I've mentioned, for updates. The uncertainty of what may happen next is absolutely the worst part for all of us. I understand that this is very disappointing and stressful for many of you, and I am especially saddened for our seniors who did not anticipate that this is how they were going to spend their last 80 days of their senior year on this campus. And I was mentioning to a few people earlier that I had an opportunity, and I'm following many people and listening to students talk about what their feeling is about this. And Jacob Jacobson tweeted this morning, "One of the most heartbreaking things I've heard in a long time is super sad music currently blaring at the Springfield College townhouses at noon on Wednesday." I really hope that this isn't how they end for the seniors here. This isn't how a college experience should end. And I'm sorry, Jacob, I was trying to find you to let you know I was going to call you out, but I am following you. So you should be concerned. But I am listening, and we're trying to pay attention. But we are doing this for your safety, and more than anything, we are going to do our very best to ensure that you're able to come back here and finish your time, whether it be online or on campus. The more we can mitigate this and control today, for the next 2 weeks, we have a better opportunity to ensure that we finish together and we finish strong. This is not the last you're going to hear from me. You'll probably be seeing information from me on that website, and if it calls for another Zoom opportunity while you're away, I will do that as well. So you'll have an opportunity to Zoom in and call. So at this point, I'm going to stop, and I am going to open the floor for questions and answer whatever questions I can. Look at this, hands go right up. So what I need for you to do, the reason how we're going to handle this is there are microphones around the room. So in order to capture your question for the people on the video as well as on the Zoom, we need for you to go up to a microphone, or if Steve is kind enough to hand you a hand mic and ask your question, and I'll do my best to answer it.
Hey, we just want to let people know. Hello, Michael?
You're going to press the button.
We just want to let people know that we apologize. There's been some problems with Zoom. We are Instagram Live, so if you can tweet to your friends to get them to do that, so the question and answer will be on Instagram Live. We will also do our best to make an audio and maybe potentially video recording of this, and that will also be up on the coronavirus website along with the script immediately after this presentation. So if you have any questions,
I know, but I didn't think anybody would.
over here.
Okay, here we go.
What if I am student teaching at this current point and
Great.
I'm supposed to stay on campus during spring break?
And so you will be staying on campus. That's a great question. We have about 45 students that are student teaching, our AmeriCorps students that are with us as well, and students at the clinical sites. So you will be able to remain on campus, and I know we've got some of our great colleagues from Harvest Table here, and there is a meal plan opportunity, not meal plan, but meal opportunity in the union downstairs. There's a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we will post that information so you have that available. So those of you that are staying on campus will be able to get access food. It will be here. As you know, we have gone with, as a result of another meeting just like this, we went with a new distributor for our food service, Harvest Table, and they are actually doing renovations to Cheney next week. So Cheney will be offline as they make the renovations. We will be eating in the union. Great question. Go up to a mic. I'm going to go. And it'd be great if you told me who you were and maybe what class, just so I have a little context.
I'm Delaney, I'm a sophomore. And if we do go to online learning for the rest of the semester, what's going to happen? Are we going to be reimbursed for housing and meal plans?
It's a great question. We are looking at that. Thank you. We are looking at that as well. And so we'll be talking about that. We'll let you know that. So we will address that. Our hope is that that's not what happens, but if it does, you can be assured that we will find a way. I'll come over here. No questions there. Back over here.
What does this mean for international students who can't necessarily go back and forth for home for just 2 weeks and don't have somewhere to stay in the States?
They'll be staying here on campus. They'll be joining those 45 other students that are in clinical sites and that are doing AmeriCorps, and so they will be here. Many of them, not only can they not travel back to their countries, they can't travel domestically at all. And so we are accommodating them here on campus.
Will they have to pay for the extra week on campus because we extended spring break, or just for the first week?
They will not pay for their housing. There will be no housing charges. There will be charges associated with the meal plan.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Great question. Thank you, Annie, for keeping us safe.
Hi. For students that still need to select their housing for next year, the next set date for it is March 25th. How is that going to be handled now that we're not going to be here?
I'm going to guess that's going to be handled online. We will get back to you. You will get information directly to you. Jump right in. Robert would like to answer that.
So
Come up to a mic.
I can't talk pretty loud.
Do it for the...
Okay, got it. There you go. So yes, we were anticipating a lot of different scenarios, so certainly we're going to be looking at the online process, making sure that we continue with credit and GPA, same order, so no one gets to skip or anything like that. We have information ready to be sent out after this to
Great.
all students.
Thank you. Good question. Yes.
If it comes to the unfortunate event to which we have to resort to virtualized schooling, when will we find that out exactly? Just because some people might have to work that out if they don't have access to the internet for one. Also, if it comes down to that event, really that's just how is it going to work exactly? Because not all of us have access to laptops and internet at home. Some people don't work that way. And also credits like PEACs, that's not something you can virtualize.
Yeah, so there's excellent questions, and the faculty will be meeting as early as Monday of next week to start talking about that. There are also a number of courses that don't translate as well online in terms of some of our labs and some of the opportunities. Rest assured, we're going to take a look at every course that we are delivering online to ensure that we'll be able to get you in a situation so that you will graduate. And we will be as flexible as possible to ensure that you are not penalized as students. Right, Ted? Yes. Tell me again, name or class so we have some more context.
So, I'm Christian Janisi, I'm a senior, and I hope I'm speaking on behalf of the senior student body when I say that just thank you for not panicking during this time and giving us an opportunity to finish up 4 years.
Thank you and good night. Eric?
Hi, NBC.
How are you?
So something that also too, kind of like the lab and stuff, is that there's a lot of people that are coaching minors, and an aspect of that is coaching practicum, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Ted, is 100 hours.
90.
Guess I failed already. You know, that's something too that, you know, even though it's a shorter time, for example, the spring seasons are pretty short up in New England, so, you know, how do we balance that in a situation that isn't necessarily as important as a lab, but we need to graduate?
Oh, I think that's as important. I mean, from my perspective, we're also facing that this is happening in our school systems as well, and I know Ted was talking with a school system last night in a meeting, as they contemplate as this spreads, and again, we're watching it daily, what happens to the school systems. And so we will do our very best to adjust to make sure that we are being flexible so that you graduate. There are some other opportunities, and some of our students have taken courses online through CIC. I don't know if anybody in the room has done that. So we're really taking a look at a lot of different options to ensure that you have access to education. Great question. Yes?
I have 2 questions. So do we have class, like we finish class up until spring break, correct?
Correct. You go through on Friday, and residence halls close at 5 o'clock on Friday night, I believe, and there's an event on Saturday. For our local students, our regional campuses have classes this weekend, right? So this also will be the same model for them, and so they'll be having classes this weekend at all the different sites around the country. Okay. So yes, go ahead.
And second question, just a general question for all the spring athletes. If we cancel school, is the rest of athletics canceled for the rest of the year?
We are in conversations. I'm glad you asked that question. We are in conversations. We started today with NUMAC, which is our conference, and so we had conversation today at noon, and we're having another one as we watch our neighboring conferences cancel sport throughout the remainder of the season. And so NESCAC, the Ivy League, and so NUMAC is struggling with that. I don't mind telling you personally, I am for us keeping sports until the end of their seasons. I don't know how that's going to play out with my peers, but we're talking about it. So as soon as we have that information, we will be making sure that Dr. P has that and student athletes have that.
Because you're saying, like, at that point, like, they won't have anyone to compete against, correct?
Right. So that they're the best. Okay. Are you set? Okay, good job. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Mackenzie. I'm speaking on behalf, I guess, of the senior class. I have worked, very hard for 4 years, and not being able to possibly walk across the stage is absolutely heartbreaking after all the work I've put in. So I know other schools have already canceled graduation, months ahead. I was wondering if that is going to be something that's even thought about right now for Springfield College.
I am not currently thinking that way.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that it won't happen, but that to me is we're working hourly and not in the next week, the next 2 weeks. Is it May 17th? Yeah. So we've got a little time. We'll see how it plays out. And we may postpone it. There's a variety of things that we may do. But I do understand for you students and your families that is a very, very important day. And so we have not made a decision about that. And I have put that on the back burner, and we're not talking about that. We're just talking about continuation of academics and how we make sure people get safely home and safely are here.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm a junior. I was wondering if you would foresee this going so far as it would affect people who would be studying abroad in the fall. I don't know if you've thought about that at all.
We haven't. We don't have enough information about that yet, but it's certainly, as we don't book future travel, I would be conservative in planning. And so we'll talk about that, and I'm sure Deb Allman, her office, we can talk a little bit more about what that might look like. But I wouldn't book anything. And I hope you get to do that as well.
Okay. I just have...
Alright, there's one question that I wanted to ask. You said that we should pack for 2 weeks. However, if we have to go to virtual, how will we be able to come back and pack the rest of our stuff?
We'll bring you back. We'll bring you back, and we'll figure out logistics for that. There are other campuses that are asking students to pack the rooms and vacate their residence halls. We are not doing that. Jump in. Annie's got a cleaning crew going on that microphone, so I don't know about you all, but so jump right up.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan.
was just curious about federal work study students. Is there a way they can get compensated for the
I will look into that.
I can help with that, Dr. Cooper, a little bit.
Oh, good. There's
the
Stuart
United
Jones.
States
Dr. Jones,
Department
everybody.
of Education is allowing a lot of flexibility with work study hours. We will continue pay in some way. So don't worry, if you're getting federal work study money, you will continue to get it in some way, even if you're not on campus.
Yes. Okay. Hi.
My name is Allie. I'm a junior. I just wanted to know if you're considering departments like, for example, like I'm a dance major, and there's only one full-time faculty that's running our entire department, and we have a lot of students, and especially with dance, which is something that is movement-based, and we learn our technique based on practicing it full out, which we might not have the accommodations to have facilities like that, making sure that either we're not going to have to pay for an extra semester, we're still going to be able to pass our courses. But I understand, like, our professor's also, she's already working really hard to try to figure that out with video, but it's not really that feasible for her to do it all by herself. So we want to make sure, like, as dancers, that someone is supporting her through all of this, especially with everything else happening in the dance department.
Absolutely. Thank you. I will look into that, and we will be talking at the department chair level about that and what resources your faculty as well as the rest of your faculty need to make sure that we find a way to make sure you graduate on time.
Thank you.
And have a good experience.
Hi, President Cooper. I'm Rachel. I'm a senior. So I know you said that at sporting events, only essential personnel will be able to be there.
And limited family.
And limited family. I was wondering if we were considering athletic training students part of that essential staff, because that is part of our curriculum and part of our clinical.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I didn't even look over there. Yes, Rachel.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I'm a junior. And I was just wondering, I know that's the program in Italy for study abroad. Has that brought the students back? I was just wondering if the study abroad programs in other countries that are close to being at risk are being looked at, or if it was just focusing on Italy for now.
Well, Italy is the only students that we've brought back, and actually the program that we work with, the third party that we work with, has brought them back. And so I've communicated to them, and they've been in close contact with Deb Alm. At this moment, we've not called any other programs back. I do believe Barcelona is in conversations about limited travel for those that are on site so that they don't travel to Paris or travel elsewhere and that they stay local. So we're watching that. Good question.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Kayla. This mic's a little high.
Sorry.
So I just want to ask again, like, I know you touched base on like what we'd be eating, like if we're staying here for the 2 weeks. Like about, I guess just about like, are we paying for it? Like, what are we gonna be eating? Like, Cheney, like, what about the people who don't have meal plans are gonna be staying on campus? So like, just the eating situation again, I guess.
Sure, and we probably, I don't want to put anybody in the spot from Harvest Table, but I have seen the menus. I'm going to post that. I'm going to find a way to get that menu to all the students that are going to be here. But it looks robust, very robust in terms of the choices for 3 meals a day here in the Union. I also had some conversations with Patrick, and we haven't solidified it, but the opportunity for those that may not have transportation, that may need a run to, you know, when we take the Bride Shuttle and we go different places, whether that be the mall or elsewhere, if we need to do that or put that in place next week, we'll do that as well. But we'll be in contact. It's about 320 students that we will be in contact with probably as early as Friday morning.
Okay, so we would be paying for whatever we're eating in the Union?
Absolutely, because I say that for at least the spring break week. Let me get back to you. I don't want to promise one way or the other, but certainly during the spring break week, just like you would if you were student athletes and you had food and travel dollars to wherever you were traveling, that money that has been assigned to you or given to you would be what you would be utilizing in the Union.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll get some more clarification to that.
I'm Sabrina, I'm a sophomore. I have 3 questions. Quick question, like for clarification, I guess people are concerned about whether or not for that extended week, are we having virtual class or no class at all?
No class at all. Thank you, Sabrina. I should have been clearer, Sabrina. I should have been clearer in that, but no class at all. That will be the prep time for our faculty to get ready to deliver courses online.
My second question, as a person who serves for AmeriCorps, and if it comes down to the fact that we have to close school, I still have to complete my hours at my location, and I have an obligation to these students. Would I still be allowed to stay on campus, or would I have to figure that out?
We'll work with you, Sabrina.
Okay.
And you were on my mind when we started talking about the AmeriCorps students. I knew that you were here next week because we'd already talked about that.
My third question, for people who are in like accelerated programs like the MSW 4+1 program or like the PT and the OT and all that extra stuff, I don't know. If it comes down to the fact that we have to go to virtual school and some of those classes don't translate well, would this delay their progress in their programs?
I'm going to try very hard to not make that happen.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm a senior. I have a question about internships. So if I have an internship at the elementary school, are we allowed to come back for the second week that campus is closed?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Internships as well. And for all of you that have either clinical sites or internships, the driver will be the site that you're staying at. So there may be a day that Bay State says, we're no longer going to have students here doing their practicums and we will follow their guidance. But we will work with you to ensure that you stay on track for graduation.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Madison. I'm a sophomore. So you're sending us home for a 14-day period, but you're also saying that the quarantine period is 14 days. And a lot of people are going home to states of emergency, other states that are in these as well, where we have confirmed cases in hometowns. Is there going to be some kind of testing coming back on campus to make sure that it's not being brought back with us?
Well, that's the main reason many colleges and universities are closing altogether. That is probably, Maddie, the core concern for colleges and universities is that when we're here in this bubble and we don't have a lot of interaction, that we're okay. But the reality of it is, once people go home or go to international countries or go to level 2 or level 3 countries, what will they bring back? And so we will be asking people, not only will we be watching that registry, we'll also be asking people that are sick. If you're sick, if you have a fever, if you present, if you know you've been in contact with, following the CDC, again, their regulations in that particular area. From that point, once you have been exposed, it's 14 days from that period on. And so there may be some students that are not able to return based on what they interact with wherever they go.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, President Cooper. I'm Doug, class of 2023 treasurer.
Hi, Doug. Doug has all the money.
Trying to flex, but okay.
So you said like the large group gatherings are like being discouraged. So let's say we do come back in 2 weeks and we do have online classes. With the Wi-Fi being such a big issue, are we going to be penalized if we can't do our work?
You won't be penalized. Tony Moody is working on it. You won't be penalized. No, we will work with you on that as well.
Hi, I'm Allie. I'm a sophomore.
Hi, Allie.
I know that like course selection is coming up, like supposed to be right after spring break. So how is that going to work now that we're extending it?
We're going to do that online as well. We'll be figuring that out, and we will let you know. We'll give you clear instructions on that. If we're not here, we won't bring people in to do that, but we will let you know what that process looks like. This crowd will turn on you in a minute if you don't give them the right answer. Next question.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a junior. I was just wondering how students that travel domestically should plan based upon having to cancel return flights and when we would be reimbursed for that.
It's a good question. We have not, in terms of personal reimbursement, we are still sorting through all the financial matters, and so I can't stand up here and tell you you're going to be reimbursed for your travel, but we'll be in touch. We'll have a process for you to take a look at. Domestic travel is, a lot of the airlines are doing a really wonderful job. I had to cancel a flight myself, and in terms of flexibility. So I think you will find a great deal of flexibility from all of the airlines. It certainly has been my experience.
Okay, thank
Safe
you.
travels.
I also just have a question too. For those spring break trips, when will we be reimbursed?
I don't know that answer exactly, but we will be back in contact with you. We have all of your names, and I'm sorry that that turned out, because I know that that's really a wonderful experience, and so I'm sorry that you weren't able to participate in that.
Thank you.
I'm not surprised.
As Alan mentioned, yeah, like course selection is coming up, but some of us still have advising meetings with our advisors. So how are we going to manage that? Some people have multiple students, upwards of hundreds of students. How's that work?
We will be in contact. My guess is they're going to be doing that online, or pushed. It'll either be pushed back, or we'll be doing it online. There may be. Marion Coughlin will get back to you on that answer. Okay, let's go. Yes.
Hi, I'm Chrissy. I'm also a junior. I just have like kind of a follow-up to all of the questions.
Sure.
Like, you keep saying online, but like, what does that mean? Does that mean Brightspace? Does that mean Zoom? Does that mean I have to go to 6 different websites for all my classes?
It primarily means Brightspace for instruction. However, we're going to be using multiple ways, just like we did tonight, in terms of interacting. You may FaceTime with people if you have an advisory meeting. You may interact with somebody in that particular modem. For those people that do have difficulty with Wi-Fi, we could also use a phone, right? We can have phone conversations. And so I think you're going to see a wide variety. For instructional purposes, it will be Brightspace. And the faculty will have an opportunity in the next 5 to 7 days to get more and more training on Brightspace. And so you can anticipate that that should be smoother.
Also, as you said, on like the training for Brightspace, because even like, I know that this Zoom wasn't working.
Right.
So like, making sure that all of the staff and faculty and our teachers know how to use this information would be awesome.
Terrific, thank you. I will make sure of it, and I'll find out why we had problems tonight. Okay, yes.
So we're gonna be away for 2 weeks with like no classes, and even though that sounds very attractive right now, for seniors, we have to graduate like on time. Is it going to be pushed back because there's that week of no classes whatsoever, and graduating in June? I don't know if that's going to happen.
No, we are not changing the end of the semester as of yet. And so, no, not that we haven't talked about that even as an option. And so we will work with the curriculum and determine, we have gotten permission from the Department of Education to truncate the semester. And so they're very aware. I mean, this is not just happening here, it's happening everywhere, right? So that's a piece. The other part, we got some great news today from our accreditation agency that has approved for our online programs as long as they're in case with our mission. And so that's a big, big step for Springfield College, moving forward more online programs for traditional students and non-traditional students, regional campus students, and others. So we're moving there a little quickly than we thought we might. Next.
Hi, me again.
Yeah.
So I just want to clarify, if we are online, we're all home.
So there are athletes that are staying, there are those 45 students that are staying in terms of the AmeriCorps, the internships, the student teaching, the international students that I talked about. So there are some students here, the rest of the students are at home.
Okay, so that's after the 2-week spring break. Like,
correct.
Decided to go online.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Maybe. There may be some that remain on campus, I don't want to be quoted incorrectly, that are doing student teaching or AmeriCorps or international students that we will not be sent, we have nowhere to send them, and some of them are required to be here. Yes?
Hi, first I'd like to say thank you for allowing the conversation to happen. But my question is, so my sister goes to a SUNY school and they all got shut down, and then they said that they're not gonna get reimbursed. And then for families that don't necessarily make a lot of money, that's an issue, that could help those families that would benefit from a reimbursement. So if it comes to that, I hope that that would be the decision that is made. I know that it wouldn't, there's a lot of steps for that to happen, but I hope that's what would happen if that scenario was gonna happen.
Okay, thank you. I hear you. Yep, thank you.
Alright, so my question is, I have severe, allergies and asthma, so I cough and sneeze every day. How is everyone gonna, because, I present, cold-like symptoms, and I bet a bunch of other people do too. How are you gonna, keep us in check versus people actually sick? Because, I ain't ready to be, attacked.
Right.
I
Louise, do not attack Louise. Okay, I too have seasonal allergies, so do not attack me. There are people, there is a difference, and so I would say if there is a question about your own health, I would seek one of our healthcare professionals on campus. But if you are a person that does have asthma or pre-existing condition, I'm sorry that people may be looking at you. Thank you.
Hi, so I was just wondering, if we switch to online classes for students who don't live around here but work off campus, would we still be allowed to be back on campus? Because I'm a senior, so I'm not going to find a different job for 1 month before I'm applying for a full-time job. But I also can't lose 2 months of my part-time job that I work while I'm at school.
So, would you be able to live on campus and work your part-time job and go online? Is that the question?
Yeah, so I work a part-time job off of campus, but I live too far to commute to my part-time job from home. So if we switch to online school, then I would have to quit my job. But since I'm a senior, I'm going to be applying for full-time jobs in 2 months, so I'm not going to be able to find a job in that gap, so I'll lose a bunch of money then.
Okay, I will take that under consideration, and I'll bring it back to our team that meets, and we'll see what we can do.
Hi, my name is sophomore. You said there's a possibility of school getting totally online for the rest of the semester. What is going into your decision to make that decision? So why are you taking into consideration what factors?
Well, I am trying to be conservative in terms of making that decision and reasonable in terms of watching how the virus plays out, right? And so each day we get a series of information, again from the CDC, or again the World Health Organization, or a governor saying we're going to go under a state of emergency. All that evidence tells us and points to us what is the best practice for us to do for Springfield College. And today at 8:45, we are not making the decision to send you home for the rest of the semester based on what is available to me today. When I know more information, we may make a different decision, but we'll see again if we can isolate and again reduce our mitigation of some of the spreading of the virus. It could be incredibly beneficial.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Kat. I'm a freshman and I'm talking on behalf of everyone that's in the EMT program right now. We were actually anticipating a national registry certification at the end of the semester. And for people that don't live in states that offer the national registry, has there any, I can't go home and take the national certification, so has there been any thought about that?
I don't know that in particular, but it'll be one of the curriculum questions that we will address, and we will get back directly to the students regarding what the process will look like.
Hello, my name is Sam. I'm a freshman.
Hello, Sam.
If classes do go online, would each class run at the same time that they run here, or would each class determine the time if the classes conjugate times?
That's an excellent question. We just started talking about this today, and I'm going to put that back to the faculty. There's some great value in being able to do those classes at real time, in terms of the opportunity for you, if it's a Tuesday class at 10 o'clock, that it happens and that you're having interaction with our faculty. The transition for a place like Springfield College that doesn't have a lot of online classes, we're going to try to make it as smooth as possible. So we're going to do our best to keep it at real time for students. But I don't know that today. We just started that conversation this morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Sam.
Hi, I'm Monique.
Hi, Monique.
So I plan on staying here on campus for the extended week for my internship in the area. Is there a link that will be sent out to let you know that I'm staying here so my ID can let me into my room?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Glad you'll be with us.
Hi, I'm Val. I'm a junior. I just had a question for those of us that live across the country. With everything being so up in the air, I know there's multiple of us that live in California. So I have a flight booked, and coming back, I can't be flying back and forth. And with everything so up in the air, how would that work, or decisions being made along the way?
So again, my comments about flights, I think you're going to find, again, the airline's very flexible. I don't anticipate that you'll be flying back and forth repeatedly. Once we make the decision to have students back here on campus, unless something else happens, it would be for the remainder of the semester. And so we will be in touch. And I'll be sending, for those of you, and I hope you all changed your passwords, you have till midnight. And I understand that a lot of people did today, so you're in good shape. But you're going to want to make sure you have access to your email, so you have access to PrideNet to keep current on that.
Now, for that extra week, would we be able to stay, like if I'm already coming back, or would I have to like switch everything myself to stay home?
You're going to have to stay home during that second week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Val. Yep.
Hi, my name's Katie. I'm a junior. I was wondering if there was anything in place for like the staff of like Cheney or facilities workers to get paid time off, because it's not their fault that there's this virus going on, and they might not be able to like feed their families or anything like that. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Roger is going to answer that. Would you like to? There's a mic.
I think you can hear me.
No, do it.
You can't hear me. All right. Hello? Good. During the next 2 weeks, we're going to have the Harvest Table team here with us, training our staff in the Harvest Table recipes and procedures going forward. So, our staff is almost going to be fully engaged over the next couple of weeks. So we don't anticipate any layoffs of staff. We need everyone that we can have on board to receive the training.
That was a very thoughtful question.
Hi, I'm Diara, I'm a senior. So I am in the PA program as well, and my question, I guess, is kind of, with the PA program, they're like, you just kind of gotta go with it. And so, with first of all the week off, is that gonna be a just straightforward week off for all of us, or with programs like that, is it kind of more up to the professor's basis?
As I understand it, and I'm looking to my academic colleagues, it will be a week off.
Okay.
Now, I just will say this to you because it seems obvious, but it would be a great opportunity to get ahead in your coursework. I know, nobody's going to snap that. But everybody up here, our faculty is snapping at that. But it'd be a great opportunity to get ahead of some things. Just an idea.
I just know with how fast moving the program is, like just something that taking a week off, like might just kind of make things messy, moving forward.
I'm going to guess that your faculty members are going to start to communicate with you about some things you may want to be thinking about, because that's what they're going to be doing. And they may take the spring break as you are, but we're not really great at hanging back on a lot of things. And so you might anticipate that there might be some tips or indicators about what you might do during that week to put yourself in a good position.
Thank you, Dr. Boomer.
You're welcome. Good question.
Hi, I'm Bridget. I'm a sophomore. So I know that you said that spring sports are still on as of right now. But I was wondering, in your meeting with the other people in the NUMAC, for those schools that have already canceled their spring sports, did you hear anything about those student athletes getting a year of eligibility back?
No, great question. And I don't know. I've read NESCAC and the Ivy League, but I don't think they've gone into any detail about what that means for student athletes. I have another call tomorrow at noon with our league, with NUMAC, and I'll pose that question. Hi, Mackenzie.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie. I'm a senior. I just want to say thank you to the President's leadership team, my wonderful health science professors for helping out. Professor Harvey, Zagrin, Higgins. But I know that Zoom, for a certain amount of time, it's very easy to use, and then you have to pay for it to get up to a certain amount of things. So I kind of just want to reiterate, is it going to be more bright space, or is it going to be like for those people that Zoom would work well, for like PACs or something like that?
That's a great question. So we, again, just started talking about that earlier today. We will put whatever resources we need to put in your faculty's hands to ensure that they have the training available. And so they may be doing some Zoom right now. Most of the activity will be occurring in Brightspace, but if there are any additional costs, the college will bear those. Yep. We're getting close to bingo, so. But I'm going to answer all your questions before you leave.
I know a lot of students use the Academic Success Center for like test taking and tutoring. So if we go online, what's going to happen for the students with academic accommodations?
There will be services available online. I am sure of it. So we'll figure out what that looks like, but they will be available.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I have a question for the students that rely on the health center and the counseling center for their well-being. Are you guys going to allow like stipends for them to receive services other places, or?
Well, the health center will be open for the students that are here. In terms of moving forward, we haven't talked about what services will be available online for that, or the potential for some of those services being, again, either Facebook or FaceTime or Zooming or some other mechanism. Let me look into that. That's an excellent question, because we want to make sure that those students are supported while they're away.
Hi, I'm back. Allie again.
I know, Allie.
I just wanted to, kind of going off of her question, those of us that kind of do our prescriptions of like medications for things like antidepressants and stuff like that, is that going to be able to like resume? Like, are they going to be able to almost like use CVS's and pharmacies near our homes?
Yes, we will work with Kathleen and our health center to work on those particular details. So we will find that question. We'll get that question answered and post that, so we know exactly what the process is for those students. There should be no interruption for your prescription services at all.
Thank you.
I'm Ryan, I'm a junior, and I was just wondering if we could get some sort of idea of like what we're actually up against, like in terms of the virus, like if you get corona, I don't even know if we know, right, how sick we're gonna get or how long it's gonna last, or kind of any information that has to do with that.
Well, there's a lot of information, and I'm not the leading expert on the virus, and I'm reading as much as you are and everybody else in terms of who the target audiences are, how it impacts youth, and how it impacts those that are over 65. And so I think that it's safe to say that it presents different in different individuals. And so unless Kathleen wants to speak to that, I think it would be, I'm not sure it'd be appropriate for us to go into the details of it. Kathleen says no. So Google. Sorry. Okay.
Hi, I have a texted-in question from Ari Susi, who is a sophomore. She would like to know if any deep cleaning will happen in residence halls and other frequently visited buildings, because I know you mentioned that the wellness center will be getting a deep cleaning. But what about the places where we're living?
Yes, there will be some deep cleaning, Robert. We'll let you know what that looks like, but we will, actually the campus, the union, there'll be a lot of places. Annie, I didn't say that you were going to be doing it, but we will be doing any public space we can get to, we will.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Allie, I'm a senior. I was just wondering, on our extra week off, and if we go online, what buildings on campus will be open? Like, will the library be open? And will all of the offices still be open?
All of the offices will be staffed in terms of our faculty and staff will be working during that period of time, just like we would during spring break, unless somebody's taking vacation. But for the most part, faculty and staff are here during that period of time. As soon as we know what buildings will be open, we will post that, so you have access.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Nikki, I'm a sophomore. I just had a question for like my friends that do live in California. Like, I don't know if they thought about this, but like if they have 8 a.m.s, it would be 5 o'clock. You know, like how would that work?
It will be early.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. Come right up.
Okay, I'm Shayna, I'm a sophomore, and I was just wondering if I'm going home to a very like highly contaminated city, which mine kind of is, what do you want us to do about that? And like I know a lot of kids like go here like from my county.
Right, that's a good question. You know, I think one thing you might do is you may want to travel with another student to their home, you know, and so you might do that anyway. And so she's looking to go to somebody else's house. No, I think that really we talked about that this morning. And many students are concerned about that where they're going, there have been cases or believed to be cases. And so I would use caution. I'm happy to talk with you offline about that, about what your options are.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Hello, I'm Tyson and I'm a junior. My question is say if we do go to remote or online schooling, what is the plan? So I know I have professors who like refuse to use Brightspace or anything, so what is the plan? Even though there's no coronavirus, they refuse to use it already, so
they'll be using it.
we're on a sports team and we get like 2 days off and we go home, like what happens if, are we self-quarantined for 14 days and we can't come back to campus? Like what do we do?
So if you're on a sports team and
for those 2 weeks of the spring break that we now have, like if I go home, what happens? Do I quarantine for 14 days and then come like?
only if you go to a level 2 or level 3 country or a region, or that you have symptoms of, or you have had contact with somebody with the virus,
Okay.
not just because you're leaving.
Okay, thank you.
Or cruise. Cruise.
Hi again.
Hold on, everybody. We just have a few more, I promise.
This is not quite as pressing as some of the questions.
That's
but
okay. It's important.
What if you have a package that you need that's stuck at the post office?
We will reroute that. We'll try to reroute that to your. I'll talk with the department tomorrow. We'll reroute it to your house. That's a great question for people that are shopping online now. Yes.
Hi, I'm Michaela. I'm a freshman. About books, like if you have a book rented from the bookstore and you have to go home and you don't live close and you need the books, so let's say if we have online classes, what do we do about returning the books to the bookstore?
Great question. We haven't gotten there yet, but we will put that on our list. That's a wonderful question. We will address it.
Hi, I'm Allison. I'm a junior, and I'm just curious, speaking on behalf of a lot of us who work with service programs on campus that engage with our community. And so if we do move back to campus as planned on March 30th, will we have any restrictions in our ability to engage with the kids and community members that we work with?
I don't think so. But that's an important group that will miss having you here during that 2 weeks. It's an important thing for us to think about our community partners and how we want to outreach and explain to them. We are one of the only colleges that are doing this particular kind of conversation. I'm calling it a conversation more than a forum. And so we will make sure that we reach out to all of the organizations that we have a regular partnership with to let them know that our students will be away for the next 2 weeks.
Thank you.
It's good. We don't want to disappoint them or the children.
Hello, my name is Alex. I'm a senior. When we come back after the 2 weeks, is there any decision made yet on gatherings with 50 people or more?
Not at this moment. Once we have more information about how the virus has manifested itself, we'll have more information on that, Alex.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Molly. So my question is, if we do go online after the 2 week period, is that decision going to be made like for the rest of the year, or in the next 2 weeks is the decision going to be made in like increments of whether we're able to come back or not?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that yet. That's a good question. As soon as we know that, Molly, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have a question from our online audience. Dr. Cooper, what are we doing for planning for graduate school counseling students whose whole curriculum is and learning style for the program is discussion in class-based skills?
We will hear directly from the department chairs and the faculty in that area in terms of what the protocol is going to look like and what the class situation is going to, how it will be transformed in an online opportunity.
Great. I think we have time for a couple more questions.
My question was, so I live off campus, so I'll probably be staying there at least some of the time. Once campus is kind of open, like would we be able to access campus resources, or would we still have to consider another quarantine of like staying off campus?
During this 2 weeks or after the 2 weeks?
Well, during this 2 weeks, and then if it kind of proceeded from there, I guess.
We'll give instruction on what that will look like.
And then my other question was kind of a follow-up to the question that was asked before about if my area is highly kind of corona infected. Has there been any thought, like, deciding factor, like, oh, you'll still go home or go to somebody else's house? Was there, like, reasoning regarding that in doing that rather than having, like, the select students that maybe were in a more exposed location remain on campus with the other students?
I think if you have extenuating circumstances that I would bring them, you can bring them to my attention, I'll bring it to our group. The fear is, as you can imagine, if we were to say, if you have known in your areas that there's been somebody that's had contact, my guess is we would have a couple hundred people that would say that, and we would be in a situation where we really wouldn't be as we are today in terms of the next 2 weeks. So that if you have extenuating circumstances, or if you know somebody that's in a situation that causes you great concern, I would bring it to my attention.
I just don't want the quarantine to cause them.
Nor do I, because that's what we're trying to mitigate.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And we got, okay.
Sorry, Christian, I'm still a senior, thankfully. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about as like a senior is the senior week. Are there any like updates on that? If like we're still continuing with the regular schedule thing? Here's an answer, I guess.
So answer, I'm gonna just keep going and living and planning with senior week. I will be extending clearly the deadline for not taking payments, but we're gonna start asking you to sign up for these activities because they're gonna happen, right? It's gonna be a great week. That includes yearbook photos. We've been getting a lot of questions. We will be postponing yearbook photos. I will make sure that those happen for you. Please do not panic, worry. It will all be taken care of.
Excellent, Annie.
I just wanted to use the other mic. Yeah. So Johan, you know Johan.
Yes, I do.
The whole volleyball team's listening on the bus, and they're asking because California, Florida kids, if they are home, right? Because they're gonna go home this week. If they're there and it turns into say a level 2, right? How does that whole process work? Because they have to then come back because they're supposed to have practice, I believe, the 22nd. So there's a whole lot of intricate parts into that.
Correct. I'm going to turn that over to Dr. P, who's going to answer. Please tell Rohan and the others congratulations on their win against LaSalle.
Johan and the men's volleyball team, congratulations on another W. That message was from President Cooper, but everyone echoes it. I talked to the executive director of the NUMAC today, even though men's volleyball is not a NUMAC sport, just before this meeting started to make sure that we could extend a stay to our men's volleyball student athletes over spring break and be compliant with NCAA regulations. Not to get too granular, but they're allowed 19 weeks. Spring break would be their 20th week. They could not have any athletic related activity, but they may be able to stay on campus, and that's an option that I will propose to Coach Sullivan to pass on to the athletes, that they can stay here that week, and then that second week of the now extended spring break, they will be back to training, and they do compete that week. So there is a plan in place. We just need permission from the NCAA to do that. We know that some of the California student athletes and the other student athletes as well may have purchased their tickets. We're aware of their plane tickets going home, and that's the same comment Dr. Cooper has spoken to on more than one occasion tonight. Fair enough?
Yep, great. 2 more questions, one on each side.
Hi, Nick, I'm a senior, and I have an internship in Hartford, and I need that to graduate. And you talked about the flexibility with letting me graduate and things like that. So I was wondering what would happen if, say, the site shut down and wouldn't allow me to come back. How would I be able to continue my internship?
We would work on getting you another internship.
Okay, thank you.
Last question. Ready?
I'm Julie, I'm a senior. I'm just wondering about classes such as outdoor pursuits that's after the year. So if classes in school would be canceled, would that also be continued?
We started talking about that earlier again today, and so we'll look at that, how we could make that experience of what another very signature event for Springfield College. We're going to do whatever we can to ensure that some variation of that happens. So I'm going to close this session. As always, you always just make me happy to be your president. You're just a great group of people. You're the best. Safe travels home, and be well and wash your hands.